Building a city on a private island isn't cheap. It's going to be powered by cryptocurrency and built on blockchain. Shouldn't be cheap. So we thought, okay, so how do we try to involve as many people as possible? What we wanted to do from the very beginning is we wanted to involve as many people as possible. Instead of doing one NFT per full block of land, we fractionalized that into 10 pieces, which means that now you can get together with 10 of your mates or even 10 individuals that you don't know and come together and create like a little cooperative and decide what you want to do with that one block of land. It doesn't mean that you get a little piece of square meterage. It basically means that you have a 10% ownership with somebody else of this block and you guys have a chat. What do you want to do? And of course, all the systems are going to be provided for you and you guys come together, discuss it, put together into a contract and boom, that's how it goes forward.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the CGE Show. With me here today, Dennis from the Satoshi Island, who is assisting build a real-life private island dedicated to a crypto community in Vanuatu. So pretty much you can purchase land on the island by purchasing it as an NFT, which then acts as a deed, and then you can kind of like join in this hub and join people that it's creating a whole new revolution. So, Dennis, welcome. When I first stumbled across this project, I was like, this is cool. This is different. This is providing so much more than just a JPEG of a monkey with a rocket up its ass that doesn't do anything. So,
right, and that's,
I'm looking
Christian,
at you. You're in paradise at the moment.
Yeah,
it was. I really appreciate you taking your time out, and I really wish I was where you are at the moment. So you're currently living on the island. That's correct.
Yep. I live on the island, so I moved here in June, sort of when it started slowly opening and recovering from the whole COVID situation. I got myself a permanent residency, so I can stay here as long as I please. And complete this mammoth of a project.
That's crazy. So, like, how did we even get here? What's your story?
Well, just like everybody else, I think around sort of 2016, when I started dabbling and looking into this whole, what the hell is this Bitcoin thing, doing, and cryptocurrency and all that stuff, whilst working in a city in Sydney. I had a couple of cafes that I was looking after. They were my own. And obviously with the COVID and all the other changes that were happening to our country, Australia, it was, like all the other things were coming up in front of me. And I was just curious, just like everybody else, I guess, what is this all about? And of course, once you start jumping into this rabbit hole,
you can't get out.
And I'm sure you would have been in the same position. You can't get out, like the more information you start learning, and then all of a sudden you forget about the whole cryptocurrency and shitcoins and you start focusing on blockchain technology and the amount of, cool stuff that you can do with it and the amount of, systems that can be improved with it, So I really put myself, deep into it and started hanging around, I guess all the chats as you do when you're learning stuff, you start following your favorite influencers, listening to everything that comes out of their mouths, following all the news, all the bad and good stuff, right? And, and of course, as always, the best way to learn is to surround yourself with the OGs who've been there from the very beginning, who've done it all, who've seen, a bunch of market crashes, a bunch of, markets going down and going back up. And that's what happened. Once I got affiliated with these groups, I eventually got added to almost like a private, at that stage, I think now you call them alpha groups, right? At that stage, there was none of that, so got invited into this private signal group of just a bunch of OGs who, were super keen to educate the noobs like myself into what it's all about, what the blockchain is all about, how it can be used, proper stuff, not a trading group, but a proper guys who really wanted to see the mass adoption of cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology. And, one thing I've noticed is a lot of them, were like man, we don't have a place of our own, right? We're all online. We can only meet up in these little online groups, Telegram, Signal, now Discord,
Discord.
etc. But we don't really have a place of our own. We can, yes, there were conferences. Yes, there was blockchain conferences, Bitcoin conferences, etc. But you go there, you hang out with with the people of the same caliber or on the same level who are not going to criticize or, for what you believe or what trying to follow the industry, right? But then you disperse again all over the world. So a lot of the times they're like, man, it'd be so cool to just have a place of our own. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, it does sound like you guys are a little bit of, there's all this stigma involved within crypto, and, you have to sell your bags to pay for groceries and pay for rent and everything else. And everyone hates fiat in that group, so they're like hating it. And then we started sort of brainstorming, almost like a vague, dream of, how cool would it be if we had our own little jurisdiction and, everything's paid in crypto and we build restaurants and cafes and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? And then a couple of them, a couple of the OGs, obviously with a bit of dough behind them, went, you know what? Why don't we just start seriously discussing this and see where it takes us and see if it's viable, to do something like that, right? So, from one thing to another, here we are looking at jurisdictions where we can build our own bloody city, right? And, and in the beginning, there was, everyone was sort of like, I think at that stage, Ben, who's no longer with us, but, Ben was one of the original members of this particular project, who along with me sort of like put a hand up and said, I love the entire idea. Let me be involved. Let me discuss this thing with you, right? And, and the way we are set up, there is no hierarchy as such. Everyone sort of just gets assigned a role of things that you have to do to make this mission accomplished, right? And I just happen to be a bit of a spokesperson for the, for the company, and eventually got myself the operational role. But really, all I am is, one of the pioneers, one of the contributors to this project, who happened to be in the right place at the right time, and now lives in a paradise.
Well, mate, you literally left Sydney. You just dropped everything. Fuck the cafes. We're out. And you're like,
exactly right.
And just jump on the plane.
That's exactly what happened,
mate. It's a big thing.
I was sitting there, we were getting our companies, our businesses, just in general, the whole economy was getting trashed by this COVID situation. They were locking us out left, right, and center for absolutely no reason. And you know what? That was a big factor in my decision making. At one stage, we weren't allowed to go and sit in the park. You get arrested or fined. To me, that was mind-boggling. And
Wild.
Obviously the whole crypto movement, the whole blockchain, the whole decentralization movement was a lot to do with control, with that centralized control that we were in jail for, right? So I went, fuck it. If I'm not happy with what's happening currently, what can I do? Let's just throw, let's just give this a go. And yeah, that's exactly what I did. I threw everything and moved to Vanuatu. And, we've been working on this for a good 4 years now, but been public since December.
Wow. Okay. So when so you permanently started moving there over the last year or so?
Permanently moved over the last year or so. Started working on a project around 2017. Obviously, there was a lot to get done. A lot to find out. Obviously, first of all, we wanted to make sure that the government is aware exactly what we're trying to do. Even though we are decentralized, even though we are a private company, we don't need anyone's permission, right? But we still wanted to make sure that we have that nice tight bond with the local government, to make sure that they're aware that not only are we doing something that no one else has done, and we're going to invite a lot of innovation and a lot of eyes on the country, but also, the amount of work that Satoshi Island is going to require is going to be extremely helpful for the local community as far as labor is concerned.
So tell us little bit about Satoshi Island. How's it all set up? Well, what's the
So
plans? I
you know,
should say.
it's an 800 acre private island in Vanuatu,
Yeah.
East Santo. Santo is the bigger island. You've got Port Vila, and then you've got Espiritu Santo. And we're in Santo, so you would fly from Sydney or Brisbane right now. Only a couple of flight plans available right now, only because they're still coming out of this COVID hangover, right?
Yeah.
Port Vila is your main international airport, and then you got another hour from Port Vila to Santo International Airport. And from there, we pick you up in our own transportation, take you to this cool little beach, which is the closest to the island, and you jump on the boat, and another 15 or so minutes, and you're on the island. We have this traditional style architecture that's already been designed and built. So that means we have electricity, we obviously have internet, sewage, water, clean water, all the infrastructure that you might need. We're almost at the moment like a resort. All this current architecture is gorgeous. It's got this really nice Balinese style to it. Exposed planks of timber. Nice straw roofs, strong straw roofs, so they can't just be blown away by the wind. And we actually also have a little bit of accommodation. Obviously, planning ahead and knowing that team members such as myself might have to move in. And any other people and any other parties that want to sort of contribute to the project. And it's essentially how it works. Everything is completely voluntary. We don't really get paid for this. We are a bunch of serial entrepreneurs that decided that it's a great idea. Of course, we do get ourselves a little bit of land, so there is a little bit of incentive. Otherwise, what would be the point? But ultimately, it's it's this crazy Web3 people that's looking to create something really, really amazing.
That's wild. So even in the aspect of you mentioned with the governments. So how does it work when you said they're on board? Like, so it's privately owned, but how is the government kind of being involved in this project, or was it just something where you just wanted to kind of build that relationship of this is what we're doing and just endorse us, or like what's that relationship?
Exactly right. So there is no involvement whatsoever. It's just simply us doing the right thing. We don't want to. We're not doing this to avoid anything. Like in saying that, of course, Vanuatu is a tax-free haven. It's a great tax-free restriction, especially for people in our industry. But it's everything's legal. You come here, you incorporate a company. You spend enough time in Vanuatu. I mean, Vanuatu is not the only tax-free jurisdiction. There's plenty of others, So we wanted to show them and explain to them that we're not trying to avoid anything here. We simply want to create a new system alongside current systems. And we believe that the new system is going to work much better. And the key thing is, of course, immutability, and that comes with, obviously blockchain, safe, immutable, and transparent, right? So that gives you, the customer, a sense of confidence when they're getting involved with companies that have trust, reliability, and mutability, right? And transparency. So we just wanted to come to them and say, hey, we want to create this system, this city, a crypto city, of course, because it's going to run on a digital currency. It's going to run on blockchain technology, where everything's going to be very transparent of exactly what's happening, because everything's going to be recorded on a blockchain. And we want to do it in your jurisdiction. And how is it going to help you? Well, we are hoping to invite innovators and the free, people to have an element of freedom to design and innovate and evolve, right? We just want your blessing, please. What do you guys think? And of course, together with this, we're gonna hire, a shitload of local workers. That's going to help the local economy. That's going to help the local labor force. They've been absolutely destroyed by COVID. As many other small South Pacific nations, they do rely on tourism a lot, and obviously that was destroyed by COVID. So we are here without any seasons, going to be able to provide full-time jobs for many, many, many local villages, and continue to employ them. And they looked, they saw the plans, they heard us out, And they thought, great, no problems. What do you need from us? And we just asked, we just want an endorsement to show everybody that we are serious. We're not just here as a quick sort of scheme project. If it doesn't work, we're out. We're really in it for a long haul. And we got a endorsement from the Minister of Finance and for the Prime Minister himself. So cool.
That's wild. So pretty much the setup was just a consortium that set up a company. They purchased the island off somebody that obviously previously owned it. And that's it. Now you put the plans in and everything's kind of rocking and rolling, which is really cool. What's planned to be built on the island? Like, obviously there's a lot of homes and things like that, but what amenities are planned, and how are we viewing that?
So a lot of thought went into it for a number of reasons. So it is essentially became a developer's project, right? So, and we know that regular traditional development could take many, many years to be completed, especially of the grand stature of what we're trying to achieve here with, over exactly 21,000 blocks of land. That's a lot of building. Okay, some blocks of land are going to be combined, but we don't know what the future is going to look like. Yeah. So we came up with modular architecture. The reason for that is, firstly, the speed of development is going to be literally a fraction of what the normal development takes. Yeah, it's essentially those really cool, modern-looking modular homes are built in the factory, completed, get shipped here as a whole thing, brought onto the island, located into place, connected to electricity, connected to water, done. You're ready to move in. So it's going to be really quick. It also has minimum impact on the island. It's a gorgeous paradise over here, and we didn't want to just come in and destroy anything. Yeah, we just wanted to keep the integrity of the flora and fauna as much as we could, which means that minimum impact on the island. Boom. Modular architecture solves that problem as well. You only need to remove landscaping and bushery to allow the module to be installed into a block of land. Everything else can stay as is. You don't have to touch it. How beautiful. You don't have to destroy, remove any trees, destroy any nature. It's great. Yes, some things have to be removed naturally, but minimum impact. And the last one is we had to make sure that we built to the conditions of Vanuatu. And, we know that Vanuatu goes through some tropical storms and, an earthquake here and there. So those modular pods were designed to withstand any category 5 storm. So essentially we just hide in your module, wait it out 5-6 hours, however long it's going to be. And those storms are quite rare. Like you've got, Harold, which was the last one to devastate Santo, and before that it was Yasi. So they're good 4, 5, 6, 7 years apart, right? And with all the current weather monitoring systems, you really get a fair warning, that something's coming. So, our community and generally the entire community in Santo are safe. They have lots of options. They can jump on a flight and get out of here and wait it out and come back later, whatever it may be. It's, but obviously we had to make sure that we are aware of those situations and we design according to that. And this modular architecture, again, just ticks another box. It also comes with this really cool design where, the end user has the freedom to put it together as they please. So it's not just like one sort of module where you get and that's it. Like you really can be super creative and have multiple levels. You can put it under different angles, have your, bedroom upstairs, living room, living area downstairs. It's almost like a Lego. You just put it together, combine it as you please, and boom, there's your home. So
how big roughly are these
behind
homes?
all those designs? So the block of land is 360 square meters, and the home is roughly about 76 square meters, or the size of a 40-foot container.
Yeah, okay.
If you sort of imagine a container, that's what you get. We did some research on our own, and we found out that the size of our Satoshi Island module is slightly bigger than an average studio apartment in Europe. So for comparison.
Yeah. It's pretty good. That's what I'm just thinking. 76 square meters. The average Melbourne apartment is probably 65 to 70 anyway. So yeah, you're getting something bigger and it's a decent parcel of land.
And you live in paradise. You're going to be sleeping there. You just need a bed. That's it. You know,
Yeah,
you got yourself
literally.
beautiful grass, couple of hammocks, you know, outdoor barbecue. You're done. You just need a bed. You know,
Literally. That's wild. And what's it like? So, what's it like trying to get like the plumbing systems, or all the sewage, electricity, all that kind of sorted out?
you know what? It's it's so simple that it's astonishing that we have no idea that these systems exist. And obviously, myself being from Sydney and everything's so complicated, and you know, and when I came here, off-grid living is so simple. We have water tanks. Vanuatu is a tropical climate. It rains, you know, a fair bit. There's a wet season and a dry season, so our tanks are always full. We have solar power, complete off-grid solar power system, which powers everything that's here right now, and will continue to do so with every other modules that move in, which is going to build different solar power grids based on the expansion as required. And it's as simple as that. It's easy. You know, you've got
Really?
solar,
Okay.
you've got sun, you've got sun all year round, so the batteries are never ever empty. You've got rain pretty much most of the year round. So and this is not just any rain. This is pure, unpolluted rainwater. Like this
Wow.
stuff, and I've had visitors come through the island, and honestly, they're like, "Oh my God, this water tastes different," and it does. It's pure rainwater. Yes, we do have a couple of filtration systems just to get to the tap, but guess what? We bathe in a pure, unpolluted rainwater. We drink pure, unpolluted. I mean, look at me. I look like I'm 25. I'm pushing 40. So there you
Mate,
go.
I need to
There's a
get down
living
there.
proof.
My skin's bloody wet. Mate, that's wild. How about like plumbing systems and stuff like that? Not too hard either to set up.
Simple stuff. Simple stuff. You got your tanks, and then you've got just
Okay.
normal plumbing that's moved from
All
the
the
tank,
sewage, all that jazz.
you know, via pump. Sewage is actually really cool. So we are using these traditional methods of digging really deep trenches and filling them up with coral. And what happens is all the sewage stuff gets filtered by this coral over time, right? And obviously eaten by natural bacteria, disintegrates, overflows, and because it's so deep in trenches, essentially what happens is it becomes of the island, part of the island ecology. It's a really cool system, and it's a local system that the locals have been using for hundreds of years, right? And I've
Oh,
spoken to some really cool cats about all this sewage, because I have no idea. You know, we have probably like this crazy expensive sewage systems in Sydney, Australia, you know, but it's such a simple thing, and it's been used for many years, and it hasn't failed us. Obviously the island's been here for well longer before we moved in, and now we've moved in and we have no issues with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that same system and going to replicate it in every single section of the island as it gets built. And there you go. You know, why are we sitting here and inventing all these new crazy schemes when all we have to do is look back into the past and see how things wonderfully worked back then?
yeah. I don't know. It's just companies coming up with how they're going to make I don't know, a few bucks here and there.
Spot on.
We've already got
Spot
some
on.
systems that are perfect. Okay, well, I didn't know that. You learn something new every day. And what's even like planned? So, are there restaurants? Are there going to be gyms? Is there going to be like any sport facilities? Like, what's the plan? How's the city going to look? Infrastructure wise, I guess.
Completely viable city. So we're going to have, and you know, I might be a little biased, so forgive me, but we're going to have the best cafes. We're going to have the best restaurants. Anything that you can expect in a regular city, we'll have available here. You know, for the ladies, we're going to have yoga and, beauty studios. You can be able to
Wow,
get your
Dennis,
nails
I've
done.
been
You know,
doing yoga the
we're
last
going to have
couple of
nice
weeks.
gyms over here, you know, yeah, right. And the beauty about this, everything's going to be on crypto. Everything's going to be powered by our own token, STC, and it's going to be powering the economy. Now, we're not going to be, we have a set amount of those tokens, 21 million, paying a bit of homage to the Bitcoin.
Yes.
And everything's going to be very transparent. You know, the way the economy is going to be run is going to be on a blockchain. It's going to be transparent. And further to that, citizens are going to be in charge of all these decisions. Yeah, we are at the moment putting together just infrastructure of main things that need to be done, the nitty-gritty things that we need to do, right? But then down the track, we're just going to hand it over to the citizenship NFT holders, and they're going to together decide what is best for the project. You know, if we open a couple of restaurants, they say we need one more. Boom. If they vote it through and it goes through, we're going to build another restaurant. You know, it's going to be completely up to the citizens. They're going to see this project through to the end.
So for example, all these restaurants and these yoga studios, are they going to be privately run, or like, am I going to be able to like say, okay, I run a coffee shop, you know, I've got a, you know, I own a piece of land there. Dennis, am I able to open up a coffee shop, for example?
Yeah, so it's going to be like a tender situation where you put your idea forward and obviously put your experience forward, because we want to make sure everything's here is the best.
Yeah.
And again, if you are chosen by the members of the DAO members, then boom, yeah, it's going to be privately run. It's going to belong to you, but you're going to have to go through a application process to make sure that we know that you know what you're doing.
Wow.
And it's going to be the same for all the shops, all retail, all hospitality, food and beverage. For example, Party Degenerates and Seed Phrase are our entertainment providers on the island. We already have a nice little partnership going. So as far as, you know, beach clubs are concerned, they're going to be opening those up.
Wow. Okay, that's wild. And how many people are you expecting to be living in this city?
So it's difficult to say right now, obviously, because there's no infrastructure. But I guess that will depend on the accommodation available. So we know that we have 2,100 blocks of land. We don't know if people bought multiple. We do know people bought multiple blocks. They might be combining them together. They might build only one house on 4 blocks. They might build, you know, a little apartment on 3 blocks. So there's no way of knowing. But you know, as far as the permanent population is concerned, it's going to reflect the accommodation available, because obviously we don't want anyone to come and not, you know, stay in a tent. It won't be allowed.
No fire festival here.
The island is no fire festival here, baby. And you know, so as far as that is concerned, you know, I mean, the island's big enough to easily accommodate 2,000-3,000 during big events. We probably can push up to 4,000 people during the conferences and events that we're going to hold here in the future. Permanent population, maybe it's 1,500, 2,000. But that's obviously complete guess. We'll see how it goes.
That's crazy. So if you're only going to be able to enter this island if you own like an NFT or like a land or something like that?
So citizenship NFT is your primary NFT that you have to possess to enter Satoshi Island. If you have land, it's not enough. So you also have to have that's the main one. The main one is, it almost acts as a private access or a key, if you like. Yeah. Oh. So anyone who's visiting has to have one, you know, and, you know, right now they're readily available on Marketplace, on OpenSea. They're pretty standard price right now. So they haven't blown out of proportion just yet, but that's a must. Citizenship NFT is a must if you want to come visit, and we have already opened the island up for visitors. Obviously, you have to send through a little application and see if you get selected. But we're also down the line, not in a too distant future, going to start doing staking, where as a reward you're going to get night stay NFTs, and you'll be able to use those and come and visit the island. So
that was going to be my next question.
Shortly.
So is there going to be like opportunities? So for example, like right now I've purchased a few of those citizen NFTs, which is cool. And I'm going to get my hands on some land as well. But let's just say, for example, like let's say it's 5 years down the track and somebody has just discovered Satoshi Island and they want to visit it first, maybe before even buying in. Is there opportunities for that for complete randoms, which I'm sure you've kind of answered, but in a sense, if they weren't staking, or are they going to be able to maybe lease out someone's pass or something like that?
Well, we have 21,000 of those citizenship NFTs available, so I think they'll always be available. You know, they'll always be available for purchase. Yeah. So I'm sure that anybody in the future is going to go, well, before I, put any more, like before I do anything, I want to visit the place, and that will be definitely available as long as you have the accommodation, or have some sort of day pass and the citizenship NFT. You'll be able to access the island with no problems.
Okay, and then how is that going to work? So let's just say I've got one, or I don't have one. When I turn up to the island, how am I going to be verified?
Well, if you don't have one, you get booted out immediately. But that's okay, because there's plenty of nice resorts around. You can just get some binoculars and watch us from the shore.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a check-in system. So when you're booking to come, there'll be a check-in system, and it's going to verify that you're holding the citizenship NFT in your wallet. And you'll also have to scan it in once you visit physically as well, just on before we take you obviously to the shore and take you to the actual island. So very simple, straightforward scanning system to verify that you are who you say you are, and no issues. Come to the island.
Amazing. And so if I was coming from Melbourne, I'd have to catch a flight from Sydney to Brisbane. Then I would land in one of the major cities. And then how do I get to the island?
So at the moment, it's Sydney or Brisbane to Port Vila.
Yeah.
Port Vila is your capital, is your small island. And then from Port Vila, a short flight to Centre. And from Centre, we are providing transportation all the way from the airport to the island.
Oh, amazing. And who's the team behind the project? So who's like the architect and all that jazz?
So the modular architecture comes from James Law. James Law is he calls himself Cybertect, and he's from Hong Kong, and he came up with these really cool modules. He's done some crazy work in India and Moscow and Dubai, and he's very out there. If you jump on his website, cybertecture.com, I think it's cybertecture.com, you'll see his designs are just way out there, and that's why he was sort of like perfect person for us to find and team up with, with his crazy ideas, and of course, just like the rest of the team members, he's a crazy entrepreneur, and he was very much at that time also learning about what crypto was, exactly what was all about, and it was it was a partnership made in heaven.
That's crazy. And why do you see, why is, for somebody that's probably listening to this, why is this a great opportunity? Or maybe they've got a business. Why is it a great opportunity for crypto projects or individuals to come and join the island? Obviously, number one, you're literally being part of an island that's been created, but what other opportunities do you see?
Well, definitely the fact that it's, the environment that we're going to create here is going to be extremely positive. Yeah. And that's why we always discuss this with openness. And we always say that, our idea came from having an element of freedom where you can come and, first of all, discuss our industry without being ridiculed. There's going to be, everyone who's going to be here is going to be of the same mindset. So for you to be surrounded by that energy, the amount of mind freedom that you're going to get, as well as the environment and the clean air and fresh rainwater, we think people are just gonna have so much clarity to perform at their peak as a human being, more than anywhere else in the world. There'll be no distractions. You can come here full time, or you can come here as a part time and have a headquarters here. And maybe send your staff here every now and then, almost like a working retreat, for them to enjoy 100% crypto economy, 100% blockchain economy, and see what it's all about. And discuss things with anybody in any surroundings, whether you go to a bar and have a beer, and I'm sure the person next to you can easily discuss, monkey NFTs with you, or shit coins, or whatever, or which blockchain is the best. And I think that's the idea, to create that awesome environment, where you can really
even
be the best version of yourself.
For businesses, how does it work? Because I'm pretty sure Vanuatu is like some it's tax free or something like that. How does that kind of work, and how do you guys kind of assist with I don't know, organizing paperwork or stuff like that?
So, of course, it all depends on exactly where you're coming from. So it's very important to first and foremost discuss it with your own accounting and whoever it is that's doing business mentoring for you. But Daniel is on our team, and he's been in Vanuatu for over 15 years, doing exactly that for not only local expats, but setting up international companies as well. So we definitely expedite that experience for you if you are part of the community, if you are a citizenship NFT holder, and we allow you access to Daniel, and you can sit down one-on-one with him over the phone, whatever it may be, and discuss opportunities that will be available for you, depending on where you are from.
And does that include as well if somebody wanted to try and get like permanent, like they wanted to live on the island permanently? Because I'm sure it would fall out you're in Vanuatu, but there's some sort of jurisdiction that you'd have to follow.
Yeah, it includes both the permanent residency and citizenship availabilities as well. So he'll walk you through all those. You can easily do a citizenship by investment program through Vanuatu and acquire a passport, or you can do something a little bit of a less level and get a PR, which lasts about 10 years and get involved like that. Staying on the island permanently, it's not a big issue at all. I think there's, just from the top of my head, 250 odd countries that are allowed to come to Vanuatu visa free. I think the sort of minimum stay is 3 months, but then to extend that stay, and again, we help with that through our own sources, it's just another fee for you to extend the stay and stay a bit longer. So there's all the options are available, and we have the right team members to help you with all those options.
Okay. And how is Vanuatu like a crypto friendly jurisdiction or anything like that? Is there are they, I don't know, have they come out and said much towards it, or how does it all work?
So nothing solid in place just yet, but the charter is that they are definitely looking at this industry as being one of the innovators and being on the friendly side of cryptocurrencies to basically open their doors and attract high-tech companies and high-tech individuals to bring some of that investment into the country. So let's just wait and see how the legislations will turn out. But from obviously being a little bit of an insider and speaking to Minister of Finance and some of other individuals in power, we're very confident that those legislations are going to be helpful to the industry and obviously our project as well.
Okay, and I come from a real estate background, so the thing that got my interest, which I think kind of peaked it at the start, was how the NFT is the deed. So how does that work? Because generally I'm assuming it's a private company that you're buying some land on, so you don't really get it's not a deed for it's not, they're verified by Vanuatu, for example. So how does that all work? And is there any thoughts on potentially maybe it being verified by Vanuatu down the track, or
So we created a new form of ownership. It's the company, the island is private, and then we license those blocks of land in that particular geographical location, license it to the NFT holder. Yeah. And it works just like any other land deed, land rights. You've got absolutely exclusive rights to it. All our legal framework is embedded in that NFT, and it is on, it's on IPFS. So you can easily grab your lawyer or grab whoever it is gives you some legal advice and go through all the legal framework and legal paperwork, and you'll see that we have absolutely no say. If we don't do as we say, then you can easily sue us and you will win, because it clearly states it in that documentation that you are the exclusive owner of that block of land. So I guess what we did, we created a new form of ownership, a digital form of ownership on the blockchain. In the future, we don't think anybody would want to register it in Vanuatu land registry properly, because then it sort of defeats the purpose of us creating a parallel system to that existing system, which is, kind of broken, kind of doesn't work. So it is available for you to pursue. We just don't think it's going to be a very popular option, because if you do pursue it, all the costs that are involved with that, and there's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of middle parties are going to be on you, you know. So I think it's better to just keep it digital. At the end of the day, it does exactly the same thing.
No, bloody oath. And even it's just so cool. Like, even what you guys are doing, like, it's exactly where I feel like everything's going to go. Give it 10 to 20 years time, I feel like all deeds are going to kind of be on the blockchain. So it's really cool to watch what you guys are doing, and I'm keeping a close eye on it. Even like, what's this? I feel like anyone that's kind of scared when they're thinking, okay, well, I've got my NFT there, and it's a kind of a deed that someone can take. What is this advanced NFT security feature that you guys have been doing?
Look, I think our industry definitely gets crippled by scams and hacks, and you know, one of the most important things is obviously to keep to pick a close eye on your assets, you know. And unfortunately, a lot of the newbies that are coming to the industry sort of don't pay as much attention to security as they should be. And obviously, it's something that we couldn't rely on. We couldn't really rely on individual security techniques to make sure that their homes and their land is safe, because we're dealing with real tangible stuff over here, right? It's not like you're just going to lose a JPEG of a turtle. You know, you're going to potentially could lose your entire home and your entire land, right? So, you know, so advanced NFT security, what it allows you to do is it allows you almost like a 2FA. It allows you to set up a trustee or a couple of them. And what happens is, without those trustees, and those trustees could just be maybe another super secure wallet, maybe a couple of your friends that you trust with your life, right? And what happens is, any transactions that you're making, which is to do with our Satoshi Island NFTs, any of them, obviously land the most important one, has to be approved by the trustees. So if your wallet does get hacked for whatever reason, say you're an idiot and you didn't listen and you clicked on one of those silly links that popped up, right? And and there's some malware smart contract got attached to your wallet. Guess what? You will lose your shit coins. You will lose your whatever other JPEGs that you have in there. But Satoshi Island will not be able to be moved because it will be protected by the trustees, right?
Wow.
We went
That's
further.
Crazy.
Yes. Okay. So this is in case a hack happens. Yeah. But what happens if you just simply lose access or lose those key phrases, or God forbid something serious happens to you? Yeah. And and you're no longer around with us. Well, beneficiary is when you set a certain time, log that setting in, and if you don't interact with your NFT over a certain period of time, it could be 6 months, 12 months, whatever that is that you choose, it will automatically be transferred into your beneficiary's wallet.
Wow.
Right? So if you do lose your keys, not to worry, after 6 months or whatever that setting that you picked, you will get your NFT back in a different wallet. Let's say you are really, really silly and you actually lost your beneficiary's wallet as well, right? Not to worry. So then what will happen is, again, in the beneficiary wallet, if you don't interact with your NFT, it goes back to the company. And then once we have it, then we can decide, and you can come and stake your claim and say, hey, it was mine. This is what happened. And obviously we have a nice open conversation and you get it back. Or if nobody comes forward, then it becomes part of the DAO.
Wow, that's wild. That's actually really smart. That's really well thought of. And can you see this kind of advanced NFT security being, I don't know, instilled more into other projects? So I've never heard about anyone doing anything like this.
Look, it's open source. We're not hiding anything. It's blockchain. It's open source. So if anyone wants to use these smart contracts that we have developed and use it for their own projects, absolutely, they're more than free to do so.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. And what's the the token? So if I come with my Australian dollars, am I going to be able to buy a coffee?
No chance. No chance. Leave the Australian dollars behind.
Okay.
So, Island runs on STC, so that's Satoshi Island coin, and all the purchases on the island, beer, ice cream, coffee, manicure, pedicure, or whatever you can think of, a movie ticket, everything will be in our own currency.
Okay, so that no Bitcoin.
And that's IRL. That's IRL. So it's going to be our own native currency, and in the digital form as well. So we are developing our own marketplace. We are developing our own metaverse, and the metaverse is going to mirror the island. It's going to be exactly a replica of the island, including all the buildings. It's going to be exactly replicated as it happens in IRL. And what happens is, again, so digital form, on the metaverse, whether it be skins or whatever other NFT drops that we might release in the future, whether they be gaming, or whether it be our marketplace is obviously going to be around our own coin, on our own token as well. And down the track, we've discussed this, is we are also looking forward to creating our own blockchain. So essentially, our token is going to become a coin, and people will be able to create their own dApps on our own blockchain, to do with mortgages or or loans or whatever, or POS systems, whatever it may be. So Satoshi Island is going to have its own, blockchain, possibly in the future. Obviously, its own token, and its own ecosystem where you'll be able to create things. And again, the idea is that to have it almost like a blueprint of how things can run in a regular system that might be slightly broken at the moment.
That's brilliant. So then, in regards to so the marketplace at the moment, you'd be able to. So when does that launch?
Not sure yet. Hopefully early next year, maybe mid next year, but it is very close to being completed, possibly even by the end of this year. So I'm not 100% sure, but the marketplace, any future NFT releases are going to be able to be purchased only on the marketplace with STC.
So you can buy, so the citizenships that you discussed and the deeds. Now, I was having a look. How does it work? There's different prices for different parts of the island, which obviously, like traditional, the center is obviously more expensive, but then there's some really cool cliff ones. I was actually liking the cliff ones more than the center, because I feel like you'd get an amazing view. But maybe you give me some alpha, Dennis. Which one do you reckon? Where you're on the island? Where?
Well, my views are completely subjective, but I'm with you, Christian. I'm with you. I love the cliffs. I love the east cliff. It overlooks the ocean. That's where the sun rises, and the sunrise is absolutely beautiful. I've taken a boat many times and just sat there and watched the sun come up. And you get that perfect view. But the more I sort of try to decide what's my favorite thing is, I chop and change every single day. One day I like the east cliff, the other day I like the west cliff, and another day I'm like, oh man, I love the south coast, so I can be on the water. So unfortunately I can't help you there. As far as pricing is concerned, we don't set the prices for them. We think that the price of land on Satoshi Island should be the most expensive real estate in the world. But at the end of the day, users will speak to that,
That's wild. And so how does it work? So every piece of land is 10 deeds. So for you to own the whole one, you need to own 10 of them. So how does that work if I only wanted to buy one, for example?
What we wanted to do from the very beginning is we wanted to involve as many people as possible. And building a city on a private island isn't cheap, right? And the land on a city on a private island that's going to be, powered by cryptocurrency and built on blockchain shouldn't be cheap. So we thought, okay, so how do we try to involve as many people as possible? And instead of doing one NFT per full block of land, we fractionalized that into 10 pieces, which means that now you can get together with 10 of your mates, or even 10 individuals that you don't know, and come together and create like a little cooperative and decide what you want to do with that one block of land, right? So when you buy one NFT, one landed NFT, it doesn't mean that you get a little piece of square meterage. It basically means that you have a 10% ownership with somebody else of this block. And what you do is, before you convert into proper land with a geographical location, you get together with 9 other people, 9 other holders, and you guys have a chat. And of course, all the systems are going to be provided for you, little chat groups of each area in the metaverse to be able to run around and meet other holders. and say, hey, what's your idea for it? What do you want to do? Do you want to build a little Airbnb? Do you want to live there, maybe do like a little timeshare? What do you want to do? And you guys come together, discuss it, put together into a contract, and boom, that's how it goes forward.
Wow. Okay. So if okay, so what if, so would it be like a scheduling system in a sense where if I wanted to go from like Jan to Feb, so I wanted to be there for 4 weeks, but then there's like 9 others, would I have to be like, okay, guys, I'm booking in this. Does anyone else want to come? Like, how would that all work?
It's complete. It's completely up to you. You know, it's completely up
Okay.
to, you know, all
just
of you.
be in our
all
own
10 of
groups and
you.
we have to talk it out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We have no involvement. This is complete democracy. In fact, if you have, like, for example, 3 and somebody else comes with 7, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work based on how many he's got versus how many you have. It's a separate thing where you discuss it as a, you know, as a contractual obligation. Say, hey, you know, what do you reckon? You know, like you might say, hey, I would love to be there. I'm in Australia. I would love to be there January, February, whatever. It's completely up to you guys. Open table. You sit down, you discuss, and you make it work.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. And then, so how much does it cost to enter at the moment if I wanted to buy 10 to get my own parcel of land?
You have to refer to OpenSea for those answers. I think there's a total of 7 areas. Some areas are more expensive than others. Why are they more expensive than others? I don't know. I think all of them should be valued at the same price, because
Just the
it
market.
doesn't matter whether you are, it doesn't matter whether you're South Cliff or South Coast. You're on a bloody beautiful island. So, you know, so at the moment the prices are obviously, you know, set by the market. They're not set by us. We think we should be the most expensive real estate in the world. We believe that we will be the most expensive real estate in the world in the future. So, you know, if I, not financial advice, but sweep the floor if you can.
Yeah. Bloody oath. Even regardless, like the way I'm looking at it is, you know, you've literally got a place that you can go whenever you like, and just kind of turn up, and then you with this great community that's kind of all like similar minded, where I'm looking at even on a level of, you know, there'll be people that I'll be able to network with. You know, there'll be people that, you know, that I can just meet and potentially do things with in business, or it's a great place to go for holiday, or just there's just so many like great benefits that that I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. So what's the roadmap? So the first when are the first people jumping up, getting on the island, and what do you think? What are the stages?
That was a great summary. And that's exactly what anyone who's involved with this project is basically on that same level, right? So right now we are doing a resort opening end of the year, which is basically a normal small private VIP opening where people can come and chill out, and very casual setting. You know, enjoy yourself, enjoy the island, see what it's all about. Mid next year, we are thinking to start. Obviously, the land is going to be located, and after that, have some modules available to purchase, which means you're going to start looking at buying your own home. And we're hoping by the end of the year, we're going to have something built here, so the homeowners will be able to come and come into their own homes, so to speak.
Wow.
And we're thinking by the end of next year, there's no reason why the population's not going to start growing more and more. And, you know, the entire project, we think, is going to be completed in about 3 years' time, which is when, you know, all the blocks of land are developed, and we have a conference center, and you can come and network with individuals, and we're going to have conferences and business meetings and events and everything of that nature happening here.
Okay, that's bloody brilliant. So even in the meantime, like, okay, so when you got the land, you bought the deed, you've got the land, now you've got to put the property on top. What do you roughly know what the costs of all that's going to be?
So at the moment, the modules are starting at about 90,000 USD for a single unit, and of course, those prices are not locked in yet because it depends on on the capacity of the factory. the more modules are going to be ordered, the better the price might be coming in at. And then you have another set of modules, which is a sort of a smaller model, which is more of your almost like a hotel room / tiny little bedroom stay only. Starts at about $60,000 USD. And of course, that price includes everything. So that price will include delivery, installation, and connection to all the utilities. Then we're not going to be charging anything more for actually bringing your home in and putting it into place. So we will take care of all that. All you have to do is buy the amount of modules that you like, have your block of land available, or have a cooperative of people come together and have a block of land available. So the costs will vary, but roughly speaking, between 200,000, 350,000, you should have yourself a nice holiday home or permanent residency on Satoshi Island.
Okay, and then like furniture and stuff like that, is that all external? Nothing comes in the home.
No,
correct?
we will include some of the standard furniture stuff as well.
Okay.
And everything will be available to upgrade. So we're going to have nice catalogs. It will show you exactly what it comes with, and if you want to go a little bit more crazy and upgrade some of your things that you're getting as a standard, that feature will be available for you as well.
Wow, that's crazy. And even to the extent of let's just say there are 10 owners, would that in the property, that means everyone would just be splitting it 10 ways?
I suppose so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the best way. You just go 10 ways. So if you want to upgrade and if you want to have it like as a little side project that you rent out as an Airbnb, because don't forget, we will have many conferences and events on the island, obviously during those times. Who knows what kind of rent you could be yielding from your property. So you can come together and really make your, even right now, if you jump on Airbnb and you see those really cool, quirky, little tiny homestays or whatever, imagine, and again, we will have those systems available for you. Imagine being able to rent out a Satoshi Island module via one of our own marketplaces as an Airbnb stay. So, it's going to be a really cool system.
Well, how is that going to work? So if we are to lease it, then does that mean the person that's leasing, they need a citizenship?
The person who's leasing it? Yeah, of course. Look, again, I think acquiring a citizenship NFT is not going to be an issue. I said before, we do have 21,000 of them available, and you're looking at permanent population of 2,000 people, maybe 2,000 to 5,000, let's say. So there's a lot of citizenship NFTs that are going to be circulating in the market, I would say.
Well, the way I'm looking at it, and I know this is not financial advice, and this is, I'm just like thinking, which I'm sure you guys have thought about, but let's just say let's just say that the figure of the citizenship goes to a number in the 5,000 US or 10,000. It goes into the 5 figures, let's just say, because it's so popular. Like everybody just wants to be on this island. It's just popular. What would happen? I'm sure you guys have thought about it, because how does that system work? Now people are going to be looking at it like, just even enter, it's going to cost me this much, and then I've got to pay all this money and I've got to fly there. So it becomes like a really expensive holiday.
It's very exclusive, isn't it? It becomes very exclusive place only for those who are willing to spend the money, right? But in saying that, right now, if you look at the systems that are in place, and I think I've seen it, I can't recall of any names of the projects off the top of my head, but I've seen some people working on rent out your NFT kind of thing. Maybe somebody will be clever enough to come up with some sort of DApp that allows you to rent out your NFT over a certain period of time before it bounces back into your wallet, perhaps. But otherwise, the place will just be extremely exclusive, and again, the early community are going to benefit, which is yourself and everyone else who have taken this leap of faith with us.
Yeah, okay, that's crazy, because even I've seen those rent out systems where that becomes like a new if you can't use it, then it becomes a new revenue model, or it's a new revenue stream for example, like Satoshi Island, the actual company, and for the holder. So I don't know. I think we'll once give it 5 to 10 years time, when it probably becomes a problem. Well, I think it'll be something that you guys will have to deal with.
We're so early. so many new tech things are going to come out, so we probably won't even have any issues. It's like, yeah. Oh, you just have like
it's just going to be
community,
whatever. It'll be
of
some
all
plugin or something.
of all the diamond hands, exclusive community of diamond hands, and nobody will be able to get their hands on the Satoshi Island citizenship NFT ever again. We'll see. Let's have
mate, well,
a look. But this is
the
the exciting part, right? The exciting part is that we are paving our own way. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen. All we can do is work hard, make it happen for us, for ourselves and our community, and let's watch how this journey, gets created.
Well, Dennis, it's amazing to actually have connected, because now I see this. You guys are literally on the forefront of this new revolution of whatever's going on in this whole city landscape. I'm loving it. So now I'm glad that I'm really early, and I'd love to jump on the island. I think it's something that we definitely have to get going.
I think so, especially for you, because you're quite close. So the journey for you is going to be a little bit easier than some of our European and American counterparts. So let's get through this holiday season, and early next year, let's have a chat. And I'm sure you could do an episode or two from the island.
I would love that. I'd bloody love that. And what's the demographic? Is there a lot more Australians, or are they all from America? Like, what are you guys kind of seeing so far?
It's been a huge mix. It really has been a huge mix. Lots of Aussies, lots of Americans, quite a huge Asian holdings, and of course Europe as well. So in true nature of decentralization, it's been a huge mix of everyone, and only the time will tell.
Okay, that's crazy. Well, Dennis, thank you so much for taking the time out to have a chat with me. Where could people find like yourself and Satoshi Island?
So start with the website. Of course, be careful. Make sure you only click on official links only. If you go to Linktree/Satoshi Island without the dash, you will get all the official links. Obviously, the marketplace for citizenship NFTs and the land deeds, etc. But our Discord, .gg/Satoshi Island has great load of amount of information about the project and where we're heading and what it's all about, with a great community who are extremely helpful to all the new people who are coming in and learning. And of course, our Telegram is always open, Satoshi Island chat. And we're always in there chatting and discussing and predicting the future as well.
Oh, yeah. I jumped into your Discord. I think I clicked the Telegram, but I think it sent me to, it was like more of an announcements page. So
there is two. So there's Satoshi Island News and Satoshi Island Chat. So just make sure you
I got to get into the chat. I got stuck into the group, and I was like, I'll just join the Discord. So I'll get into the Telegram as well. But Dennis, thank you so much for taking the time out, and it'll be great to, fingers crossed, meet you on the island next year.
I can't wait. Thank you very much.